some of those, those babies open their eyes and you're like, wow, that is the exact soul I've been talking to for 9 months. It was just so amazing.
They're right there. We're not just getting to know someone on the surface of their body personality, but really deeply as a soul being, and sometimes saying hello again, like, oh, I remember you from whatever past life.
I think in 10 years you won't recognize Earth at all. And, that's can be scary as a thought, but I find it very exciting.
Yay! Hello and welcome to the Higher Vibe. I'm your host, Jean Rorda. I'm having conversations with psychic friends, and today I have with me Mary Bell Nyman. She is a psychic and healer. She is the founder and former director of Psychic Horizons, a psychic center in Boulder, Colorado, and she is still the head troublemaker. Hello, Mary Bell. It's so good to see you.
Hi, Jean. Great to be here.
Yay.
Very fun.
Yeah, it's so fun. Mary Bell, we met back in 2005, I think it was, when I lived in Boulder for a little bit, and I met you at Psychic Horizons and was very drawn there after looking at my next steps for my path, learning to continue to be a more aware healer rather than a runaway healer, as they say. And that was a really special time in my life. I would love to hear how you got started. When did you found the center? What was your inspiration? How did you get into this?
Well, I got into it backward, which is what a troublemaker does. First in life, I got into it. My mom was killed when I was 3, and there were 5 of us under 6. And so we could see spirit. And I think if it was just me, I would have lost it because the adults kept saying, oh, she's in heaven. And we'd say, no, she's right up there in the corner. And we could see her. And so she had a big influence on us for probably the first 5 years. And then she, left more, but she would check in and out. So I felt like I came in spiritually aware, but not real aware of the body. I think I kind of got kicked out of the body a little bit with that shock. So I always saw spirit. It was always there. And I used it in many different ways. I worked with handicapped, deafblind, multiple handicapped children. And they're in there. And you used mental telepathy with them and mental image pictures. So my kids really made great progress. And I would teach their parents how to use telepathy with them to help them communicate because the soul's in there. They just can't talk, most of them. So
they can communicate, just not the way that we do.
Not the way we do. And so then I moved on and got some training, and I became a teacher. I went to the Berkeley Psychic Institute, and when I was 27, and I ended up teaching the School for Psychic Children, Yin Yang. And boy, was that a hoot. You think adults are tough. Man, kids are deadly. And they would do things like one little girl came up and she said, my mom's pregnant and it's a boy and his name is Jason. And I said, okay. So when the mom came, I congratulated her at the gate. She said, I'm not pregnant. I said, oh, that's what, Christy said. So next day she comes in and she says, I'm pregnant. And the rest. It was a boy and they named him Jason. And that was a very normal occurrence where kids were just totally aware of spirit. And so you couldn't help but learn every day. It was just amazing to work with them. And, not making them psychic because they're already so there. It's just helping them not take on energy from others and staying grounded. And, they made a bubble instead of an aura. And so it was, it was just a delightful time. And just seeing who they've grown up to be because they're all in their mid-30s. So it's just this wonderful opening with psychic kids. And then I moved out to Boulder. I was just kind of looking around the world, where did I want to live? And it was the Blue Mountains of Australia or Boulder. And Boulder was cheaper to move to. So I'd never been there. I packed up all my stuff and just trusted my intuition and moved there. And then I had a friend who was a friend of my sister's, but I'd never met her. I'd given her a reading off the phone, Hope. So I moved in with her. They had just completed a downstairs basement. I came the 4th of July. And so I moved in there in Boulder. And she was a massage therapist. And for about 3 months, I thought, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I thought maybe of doing something, with the kids again. And
Yeah.
those opportunities just didn't totally manifest. So she came in and
Yeah.
said, I have 3 massage therapists who want to learn tools to protect themselves when they're, doing their work. And I said, oh, I could do that. So I taught them a little class, and they really had fun, and they learned great tools. And they said, well, we want to do more. We want a clairvoyant program. And I'm like, okay. I mean, I've taught that before, not a problem. But it was kind of the last thing I thought about doing. I was really had my attention
Interesting.
over here, not on doing a center. So,
Yeah.
we just started, and it was like, bring your friends and I'll teach you, how to read them. And we read in line, and, it's 3 people looking at one person. And we just somehow never didn't have a reading, a person who
Yeah.
wanted a reading. It just
Yeah.
flowed. And
Yeah.
I
Naturally
have to say the
established.
rest is history. It just
Yeah.
kept going. It's like there was nothing that would stop it. And
Yeah.
one person said, well, why do you think you can succeed in Boulder? There's tons of psychics. And I'm like, well, I know how to teach people how to do it in the beginning. There's a lot of professional things, but you need a safe space to kind of open your abilities. And like a kindergarten for adults, but not talking down to them, obviously, just making it simple so they could trust their intuition. So that's what I did at 27. I guess I was out there in California like 17 years, and then I moved to Boulder and just started a center. And I started it with 3 people in my living room, and it just kept growing. And I graduate this one, and okay, now how do you feel about teaching? Oh, you want to teach? Great. And get them going. And so little by little, we created each little part of it. And, you held the big programs like one-to-one, the higher, more advanced stuff. You waited a couple of years because you had to have enough people on that graduate level. So we just had a great time. And in the beginning, I went to Tim Tebow, is a man who owns half of the real estate in Boulder. And I said to him, hey, we just have chairs. Could we rent, one of your buildings that you're showing, and you can show it in the daytime because we're there at night. And we'll just stack the chairs in one corner. And he said, sure. He loved it, renting one of his buildings that was empty. So anytime they sold it, then we would ground it, and then they'd want it. People would buy it. And then we'd go to the next location. So we were all around the Pearl Street Mall. Oh my God.
You're really doing your business.
We were selling his buildings for him, for sure. And then eventually we found, a place we called home for a long time.
Nice.
So it just kept morphing. And the thing I love about it is I had a partner, Hope, who was just tremendous. We were kind of polar opposites. And so she attracted one kind of soul, and I attracted the other. And between them, it was just this perfect mixture of people that, no matter what ability you had, you fit. And so it was safe. There was a lot of laughter. We were really like a community. Nobody went to surgery without a healing team. And, everybody was there for each other. And so it was really delightful. We just had a great time. And I think that's some of it. You're doing the work, you're working on yourself. So it's not how's the weather, but what are you working on?
And conversations are different at a psychic center.
Conversations are definitely different in a psychic center. And, it's so real. It's so genuine that, you form these relationships, just like I did in California at the Berkeley Psychic Institute. I have people that, I've known for, 40, 50 years that I'm still really good friends with because you form such close bonds being so genuine. And it's the same. It's like, I can say there isn't one of my students I didn't like. There were 2 that kind of drove me crazy, but I made it my job figure out why. It's like, what is it about that person I can't handle? Or, I don't handle as gracefully. And it was really great. I learned a lot about myself by trying to be, a very fair director. And one thing I would say is, when you're seeing people all the time, it's like wiping the slate clean. So the next time you see them, it's like, oh, you're right in the present moment. You're not, oh, they used to be here. You're right in the present moment. So it keeps it fresh. It's always like a brand new person. And so you don't bring any baggage with you. You just have this clear ability to relate. And I really
That's
enjoyed
the
that.
best relationship, right? Just right in present time, really seeing you for who you are right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's great. It
Or
really
what
keeps the energy clear and clean. And
I think so. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
observing just as you're talking about how you ran your center and how it was established and just the flow of it. Like there was no effort. It was just like, well, I'll just go do this, and then it just happened.
And it totally
And
took
it
me
was
by surprise. Yeah. It was the last thing I
yeah,
thought
you
I'd
were
do.
moved to Boulder thinking, I'm gonna go start an institute.
Yeah.
You were following spirit. Yeah.
Following
I
spirit. I
love
just
that.
got it. Yeah. I got tired of California. Too many people. And
Yeah.
I had a friend. My sister was out in Colorado, and I thought, all right, let's just do it. Got in my car, packed up all my stuff, drove
Yeah.
in search of psychics, and found them. And that center
Yeah.
is thriving still today. I'm not the director, but it is thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of
Yeah,
fun
and
too.
it really is established at a different vibration. I think each psychic center has its own unique vibration, depending on who established it and who's running it and where they're coming from. But I think yours was the first one that was in that, I'm just going to call it more feminine vibration. I think you may have called it more on a heart chakra level. Like it was run in a very different way than the previous centers. And it created a new space and that sense of safety too. And I think you really called in a lot of souls who really needed and wanted that kind of training, but didn't necessarily resonate with the way that the other centers were run, right?
Yeah.
Not that that was bad or wrong. It was just different from what
just
they
different.
were needing, different from what they were needing and wanting.
And it was definitely more of a community where we really supported each other. And like we would always do a Thanksgiving, my husband and I, for people who didn't have a place to go. And he was literally taking doors off the hinges and propping them to make tables. We'd have these long tables and all these people. And it was just wonderful. We had the best times. And
I love that.
it was really fun. So that was exciting. And just that sense of being there for each other. And I think it was just a little bit more freedom in the sense that it was more about creativity and support, where some of the other centers were maybe a little bit more serious, but more about the techniques of things. Ours was more about the community of things and, just your spiritual awareness and all the different ways you can use it. Yeah. But both, like you said, both of them work great.
It's just different souls are needing different things. And some it's more about, I need this technique or this structure. And others is, I need this community in which to learn in to not only learn these tools, but also relate. There's a lot about being in the world that's about relating with others.
It is. How to get along. I think we're still learning that. Yeah.
That's a part of it too. And just a different structure, even though you were directing and there's people teaching, to me, the energy looks more like a circle and less like a top-down structure. It's structured in a way that's much more community circular oriented, I would say.
The thing with community too is it's like, you're creating this universe where like we didn't work with baby souls. Baby souls want you to tell them what to do. And so I was like, Hope, do you want to tell people what to do? No. It was like we taught them the tools, but we really said, what you're learning is how to find your answer. My answer won't work for you. I can teach you the tools that help you find your answer, but I don't have it, And so that was really helpful to be able to work with a group that were really interested in doing their own work. And so there was a lot of independence. There was a lot of, trading readings and stuff so that, they could work with each other and see how all that unfolded. Yeah. But it definitely was a group of fairly high spirits that, came to Earth for a reason and wanted to get on with it. Back then it seemed like it was going to take forever. We're here. And it's going to be an amazing 20 years because at the end of about 20 years, 18 to 20, everybody will be on the same level we are. It will be a spiritual planet. Right. And in order to do that, you have to tear down everything that's not working. And you know what? That's a lot of tearing. So it's going to be messy, but it's going to be
still watching
amazing. And just incredible. So where we're going, it's like you can't let anything bring you down or get you upset. To me, it's like politics are just so far off the mark.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
trusting, it's evolving.
Part of that falling apart that needs to
It
happen,
is,
right?
it is, it is. It's kind of like tearing that whole system
Yeah.
down and then rebuilding it on
Yeah.
a level of generosity and compassion and love. And that's where Earth will be in 20.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be so worth. So there's some of us that, us
Absolutely.
old dogs that have come to lend a hand and are gonna be shoveling the trash out, but we're all gonna get there.
Yeah.
So the best thing is just
Aw.
staying
Yeah.
grounded
No,
and yeah,
absolutely.
just
I have so much just love and respect for you and other souls of this generation who you really were the ones establishing this energy for the souls that came next to have a little bit easier time,
yeah,
a little bit more space to incarnate and really have the vibration that is more supportive of our energy, right? And that's hard work. You were the souls that volunteered, like, I'll go first.
I know. We were idiots,
I'll get
kind
the
of.
party started.
Yeah. Like, what were we thinking?
You just like super enthusiastic and capable. You're like, I got this. We can do this. We can handle this, right? And you had a good team.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to be also like you're the really patient souls too, right? Because if
That
it
is
was
true.
the impatient souls that came first, you would have gave up. Like it's not happening yet,
Yeah. Yeah. And we would, every so often, every 2 or 3 years, we go, is it time yet? I mean, when?
Right.
We thought in 2000. No.
Right.
2012. No. It's like, oh, finally, we've been waiting our whole lives for this moment. And so it is exciting. It really is exciting. Yeah. And
it's super exciting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of patience and fortitude and persistence,
and chocolate.
And certainty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's built on chocolate.
Yeah.
That's how they lure us back.
Chocolate. Yeah.
Whiskey, sex, and chocolate.
You want to incarnate. There's chocolate here.
That's right. They got us. Once again, we fell for it. Kind of like the fish for the worm.
I love it. But you really did establish some unique creations on the planet, especially as you were sharing about Yin Yang, the school for children.
Yeah.
That was back in, was that the early 80s that was happening?
That was, I came in 78, so 79. That would have been 79 to 80, right in there. And I will tell this funny story.
Yeah.
We started with 5 kids. And I said, okay, at Circle, we sat down and we meditated with them every day. And I said, let's, call in your friends so we can grow our school and have more kids. And about a month later, 13 women got pregnant. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? I thought they'd have bodies already. So, second kids just, they get you every
specific.
time. They got me. Man, did they get me. But we opened a birth center. And just these amazing stories would happen with, first we did home births, and then we created an actual center where people in the whole community could come and birth. And one of them was this kid, little girl, who during the birth, all these funny things would happen in her house. Like my favorite was there was a set of ping pong balls on the top of the refrigerator, happily sitting there. But if the labor got serious, the whole thing of ping pong balls fell down and they're bouncing all over the kitchen floor. And we're like, you could tell it was the little soul, Mandy, playing. And it was so funny. Yeah. She just would bring that humor in all the time. And so, it was just great. We never had one problem with the births. And so it was really fun. And I got to be at a lot of them because I was teaching that group. And it was just miracle after miracle. And some of those, those babies open their eyes and you're like, wow, that is the exact soul I've been talking to for 9 months. It was just so amazing.
They're right there.
They're right there. Yeah. They are not missing a beat. And we would do things like read the agreements. Why out of all the moms on the planet did they pick their mom? And why did they pick their dad? And what did they want to learn? And I thought that was really, what a great thing to walk out of a birth center with. This kind of like, here's your kid and here's the direction they want to go. And just amazing to watch
Right.
all the kids that have gone through there. And
What a
yeah,
difference that makes in the life of the whole family to
yeah,
have that information and that awareness and recognition of that soul right away, even from before birth, but to know this is what we're doing here together, right?
yeah,
This is our spiritual contract. This,
yeah,
this is the direction we're taking this relationship and agreement. It just establishes a whole another level of awareness and healing and growth for all of the souls involved. It's
yeah.
so powerful.
And really trying
Yeah.
to let your kid be who they came to be, not getting
Yeah.
constrained by society or your family, relatives, about making them go a certain path. And I really like that. And they were very
Right.
individual. It was just the best
So much
time.
freedom.
And I was blown
Yeah.
away by it. It was just
Yeah.
great experience. I just loved it. And again, they're just beautiful young
Yeah.
adults. It's like back then it was, the atom bomb. Russia had the atom bomb. And I was like, we've got yin yang. I'm betting on us. Because those kids were just so powerful and what they were creating.
Yes.
And it was just beautiful to watch. Yeah. Love over fear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think love will win out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love always does. Yeah. Well, and I love that you said too, like all of the births went well. Like when there's that hello to spirit and the energy's grounded, there's so much more space for everything to just work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So many of the complications of birth have to do with all the energy of either the mom or somebody in the room or the soul itself,
Yep.
like the fear that comes up or the resistance that comes up. And when
Yeah.
that energy is clear, everything, all the physiology, everything can just work. And it's just,
Yeah.
so much
better.
more easy. Peaceful birth.
And we
Yeah,
always
it's
had
really,
like a team, like 2 or 3 women, and then we always had a man on the team for the dad. And, keeping
yeah.
it all grounded was our job so that the mom could labor in ease. And I mean, it was just so much less effort. They were, quicker. The mom
Right.
didn't, have to suffer. And she felt supported.
Right.
Like she had this whole team of people helping behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And I think that's just what a great
Right.
way to have a support team. And, not only physically,
Absolutely.
with food or stuff like that, but spiritually, just holding that room
Yeah.
so that it's peaceful and calm and you feel secure, you feel grounded. That's such a gift to give a mom. So yeah, it was kind of sad
It's
that
such a gift.
we had to close it, for insurance reasons. Just the insurance
Yeah.
on that kind of center is sky high. But it was a
Yeah.
lovely time. It really was a lovely time. So
Yeah. We really established something on the planet that I think that's the direction we're heading, right?
yeah,
You were
I do too.
establishing maybe one of the first iterations of that. And I know that that's the direction we're heading. So that was like a little preview.
Yeah.
A preview of what's possible. We can have birth, we can have psychic centers for children where both birth and the process of childhood is supported and nurtured in that way of just bringing awareness of spirit to it, bringing grounding to the whole thing, giving everything space and just allowing it to unfold. Like you said with the Center for Children, you weren't teaching them to be psychic, they already are. You're just holding space, giving them permission, celebrating it, really treating it as normal, right? So that instead of the people they encounter validating it or making it something like super special or super weird or super dangerous, it's just, no, this is just what it is. And in that way, people can just be who they are.
And I taught the babies. That was my
great.
love. But Natasha taught the elementary kids. And she was just fabulous because the society, I can't think of the name of the people that would come and look at our school to see if it was accredited right. You had to follow all these things.
Right.
And they were just blown away because the kids would meditate and they would have a circle and like they might say, today when we were outside playing, you called me a booger. And that really hurt my feelings. And I don't like it when you do that. And the kid would say, okay, I'm sorry, and they could have, that honest dialogue with each other in circle time. And it was just sacred. And it was like, there was room for you to make a mistake and it was okay. You could be forgiven. Nothing was held against you. So that was a great place for kids to grow up and expand in that area. So a lot of good things came out of that school. And I do think it set the precedent for where it's going. And Marie Montessori, that whole group has done a fabulous job. It's all about mostly the physical body, but they worked on soul too. So it's amazing what can be accomplished.
So good. Yeah. Hopefully more of these will get established so that when we reincarnate, we can go to one of these schools.
You got it. That's when I'll come back to Earth.
Right?
Once they've done a little bit more work. Yeah. We were the pioneers. We got it started, but we're going to wait a little. Yeah.
Getting it ready for ourselves so that we'll have a nicer energy to reincarnate into.
Absolutely. Once the work is done. Yeah.
I feel like we're almost there, Mary Bell. We're getting there, We may have been asking for so many years. Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah. And you know what the fun thing is?
Closer.
Yeah, we're getting closer. And so are all the leaders around the world. It's not just us that are transforming. Everybody on earth is. So everybody's stepping up spiritually. Even if they don't even know that. It doesn't matter. They're getting more awareness. And so some of these leaders are going to lead from a whole different way. I think in 10 years, you won't recognize Earth at all. And, that's can be scary as a thought, but I find it very exciting. So,
me too.
Yeah. We're really going to create this amazing planet and really be able to do a lot more of what we came to do. Yeah, it is about time.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to give them about 10 more years and then I'm going home. I'll watch the rest from the other side. Yeah.
You're clocking out. Yeah.
I got to live long enough for my little dog. Once he goes, I'm going. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you've stuck around and persisted. And it's really such a dedicated space of just commitment to the planet, to all of the students you've encountered, all the souls that you've supported and helped to persist and keep going for so long. You've been Psychic Horizons for many, many years. And you got to teach so many souls and really support so many souls on their path of self-awareness and grounding into their purpose and path here.
Sure.
So beautiful. What have you noticed over the years that has changed, like in terms of when you first started teaching? We were talking earlier about how the energies kind of picked up and things are quicker now, right?
Yeah.
So when you first started teaching and then now, what are some of the differences that you notice in the souls crossing paths with you or how you teach or how the learning happens?
I think it took us a lot longer to get through certain blocks of energy, like in the 70s, 80s. We went from premarital sex is wrong to, look at society now. What sex do you want to be?
Right.
It's everything has totally changed, but it had to start somewhere. So protesting against the Vietnam War. So, all those things were little markers, but they took tremendous amounts of energy to shift. Yeah. And we're in that same place right now. We're shifting out of all these preconceived ideas of we have to do it forever just because somebody set it up 50 years ago. And it doesn't work in the same way. And so progressively, as the planet's changing, people are becoming more aware. They're thinking outside the box. There's this beautiful invention that they use in Africa where they make these bamboo towers and they vibrate and they bring the water from the atmosphere down through this kind of bamboo thing, and it produces water for villages that don't have any water near them. And it's what a beautiful invention. I'd love one in my backyard, but they're quite tall. But somebody came up with that, and that's just it. The souls coming in now have all this technology plus spiritual energy. I don't think we were as technical as older spirits. There's a whole group, kind of like in my parent generation, the Frank Sinatra and Bing Crosby and Andy Williams, the crooners, and that was a whole group, Johnny Carson. And they had a similar effect on the planet, and they're all gone. And then there's this next group. And then so there's these groups of souls that come in to help the planet evolve. And so now these babies coming in are so capable and just what they can do. Sometimes they bring past life information. You'll see little 2-year-olds that can play the piano, and you're like, you can't play the piano at 2. And it's like, oh, I did last lifetime. I just brought it with me. And, it's recognized more and more, some of the abilities or some of the things they can remember. And so it's amazing. And also on the other side, people dying. Anita Morjani was a woman. She had cancer. She got down to like 73 pounds. She died, went back to source, and they showed her where she got stuck. So the first half of the book is about how she got stuck in energy with her dad. And when she met her dad as a soul, he was like, I don't hold any judgment against you. It's like she kind of carried that in her mind. And so forgiving herself, forgiving him. And then they sent her back to Earth, and she's like, look at that body. It's 73 pounds. I can't, resurrect it. And they're like, oh, we'll heal it. And so the second half of the book is now, how do you live once you know the truth about what happens on the other side? And so she's a really fun speaker. And one of the things I did as a center director was I volunteered in hospice for 10 years, helping people die. And that's a tremendous gift. Because they see their family about 2 or 3 days before they die, a week before, and they're talking to them, and they start to get excited. And so it's exciting. It comes full circle. Just like those babies, they're just bigger bodies. So they're just going home. And going home is the sweetest thing in the world. It's the best part. This is the hard work. But going home is just this. So I can't wait. I'm very happy with my life. But, it's going to be exciting. Yeah. So kind of fun.
It's such a big part of your work here, Mary Bell, is that spiritual midwifery, which is both for birth and for death, midwifing souls as they're coming in or exiting. Those are both such important times in a soul's experience here. To come in for a good landing, right?
Absolutely.
Make a good exit.
Make a good exit.
Take all the energy with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a real privilege.
And to really leave on a good note.
Humbling to watch people process and die. And it's just, oh my God, you just, even though they're not your family, you love them so much. It's just really seeing who they are as a soul. It's just beautiful. Yeah. One of my favorite things I did. And, it all kind of works together. You get both sides and everything in between. And I think that's what we take into everyday life. It isn't, it's fun to be a director and do it 24/7 because you meet the most incredible people on the planet. Your friends are beyond friends. They're just amazing. But I think being privileged to help people in their process, coming in or going out, really is special. Some of my just favorite memories are on both sides. Yeah, the kiddos and the old folks. And just how fun it is on both sides. Just like, oh, you finally just have to let go. Yeah, it's great.
It's so saying hello, spirit to spirit, really speaking on that soul level. It's so fun because there's so much joy there and there's so much freedom when we say hello from that place, because as souls, we are free. So when we get that hello to that soul level and bring space to have that freedom and that joy here in the body as well, it's powerful. And that's,
powerful.
It's such a privilege and an honor. To be in that place of saying hello to those souls. It really speaks to something you said earlier about how the relationships in the center, everyone became such deep friends because there's that soul to soul hello. It's a deeper level of seeing and recognizing and getting to know someone, right? We're not just getting to know someone on the surface of their body personality, but really deeply as a soul being, and sometimes saying hello again, like, oh, I remember you from whatever past life. And that's why I love these conversations with psychic friends, because these are friends that I feel like I know them deeper than just maybe the duration of time that we've spent together. Even if the duration of time in person was limited, there's a deep knowing and recognition of each other and a celebration of each other as souls. And that's pretty unique on the planet.
It is. And I think, as people come into more of that awareness, it's really so freeing and so exciting to have a soul see you. It's like, I see who you
Yeah.
are, good days and bad, and, totally no judgment.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it.
Yeah.
You see that soul and what they've been up against, what they had to go through to get to where they are. And boy, it's just a miracle.
Yeah.
It's so humbling as a director to watch people go through these huge changes and get rid of all this pain and walk away with all this joy. So it's like, drop your pain here and really go have fun the rest of your life. Go create. And that's it's so freeing. It's just a miracle to watch them. So I think that's one of the highlights of being that kind of person where, you are watching them come in. And, I can remember this one guy said, he was so intellectual. And you were just like, he said, I am so afraid people are going to see how needy I am inside. And it was like I was howling. I said, David, they can't miss it. Are you kidding me? But the magic is they love you in spite of it. It's okay. They see it. Nobody's, stuck on it but you. And so here's a chance to let it go and just be you. But I mean, it was, if you could have seen this guy, you would have just died. It was so clear. Yeah. So, even the ones that come in stuck, they always leave free. And I think there's only one person who didn't. He was a banker. He just was so mathematical. It had a hard time getting into that other part of the intuition. And so, he dropped out, but that was okay. He got a taste of it. It planted a seed.
Yeah.
Maybe next
one
lifetime.
out of so many hundreds. Hey, it was a seed planted, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you had so many hundreds of students. Amazing.
Just fascinating. And every time I see one of their names or their little faces pop up, it's just like, oh, I remember you. And it is that connection. Yeah. So it's really fun. And like you said, somebody will walk in and you go, oh my God, it's you, and you recognize them as from other lifetimes. And it's like, oh my God, now you're really going to cause trouble. It's fun to find each other.
It's so fun to find each other again. Yeah, it feels like a huge soul family around the world coming into our recognition of our capability. What other challenges did you face? Do you remember what you experienced as some of the challenges along the way of being a teacher?
I can't say I was challenged too much on that level.
You focus so much on the gift of it and the joy of it and, being in that space of just play with it too and enjoyment that would prevent any challenges from being a problem. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we really had no legal issues the whole time the center ran and nobody really left hating us or anything.
Didn't make any enemies.
Didn't make any enemies. We did some fun connects in the community. We did this ghost walk, ghost talk. So the Historic Society would have the homes that had been preserved and we would go in and read the ghosts that were there. And we didn't want to know the history. So we would read them and then tell them what we saw. And they were like, oh my God, you were right. And so we would go through and people would come through. And I would teach him how to feel the energy of the ghost. And I'd just work with the ghost and ask it to stand here and let people feel it. And then at the end, we would heal the ghost and send it home. So that was a fun community event. And then after they went through like 5 or 6 houses, then they got to go over and get a 10-minute free reading. And they thought it was going to be, like magic balls and stuff like that. And people would nail them in like 10 minutes, blah, 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 blah. And they'd like, how did you do that? And they were so surprised.
Wow.
And it's like, guess what? It's real. And so, I mean, we made so many friends in the community that would never have come to a psychic institute, but they came back every year to get that 10-minute reading because they were always right on. So it was fun to be in the community and again, plant seeds and everybody wakes up at their own time. There's no right or wrong, but it was great helping them. And so there's a little group out there that, is older, who have had seeds planted and maybe they'll ask for some spiritual communication before they die. You never know.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll come back in as the psychic kid next lifetime. Because psychic just means you're more aware, as we know. You just are tuned into that intuition. And you listen.
Operating more. It's fun.
I can remember at my house looking at this beautiful blue day, blue sky, and I said, I'm not going to need my umbrella. And I'm downtown Boulder and just got drenched. And I'm like, why didn't I listen to myself? I had the answer. And it happened one more time. Same thing. Didn't go
Yeah.
back for the umbrella. And the third time,
Mhm.
I got a little smarter. So I stopped
Yeah.
my car, drove back around, went in, got the umbrella, and of course I needed it. And from that time, I never didn't listen to that inner voice. And it's always served me. It's always right. Darn it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
listening, really learning how to listen just saves you.
Right.
It's amazing. And so I had to
Yeah.
get drenched twice, but I got it.
We all have those stories of where, we hear our inner voice say, oh, whatever it is, grab a jacket or
Yeah.
on the little things in life, and we don't listen. And then we're like, that was right. Or even when driving, you should take a left. And you're like, no, I'm going to go this way. Oh, it was right.
Yeah. Darn.
Eventually we got, I have to listen to that.
It is amazing. It really is. So
Yeah.
you learn to really respect those hits and that intuition, where it tells you, hey, you stop here. Okay. Finally, we get it. So it's fun. It's like proving it to yourself. And it's not really proving it. It's just really knowing you can rely on that inner voice, that it will guide you. And I think those kids come in with it already intact. Totally. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then it gets programmed out of them, and then they come back with some group like us, and they get it all back again. So it's kind of like ice on a lake. It goes underground, but they don't lose it. I mean, have you noticed that with your kids?
It's just absolutely. Yeah. I mean, kids come in so psychic, and I see, even if I could nurture it, I thought, oh, since I'm their mom, they'll be able to stay psychic, but they encounter so much non-permission out in the world, or so much fear out in the world, that they still sometimes tone it down. But I just know and trust when they need it, they'll have that validation that I've been saturating them their whole life.
So it tends to
back,
to
and
go
I don't
undercover.
do that, finding our way in the world, like not wanting to be too different, wanting to. A lot of kids, it's like they want to fit in. They don't want to be the oddball out. And if they don't have a school to go to that is all about validating and celebrating being psychic, then, what I point out to them is just, it doesn't have to be weird or different. You can use it for school. What does your intuition say about?
Yeah. What is the answer?
About the answer. I do that all the time. I think school was easy for me because I was using my intuition. Nobody really explained that to me. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I would just see the answer or just be aware of what it is I needed to say, in response to a teacher, and it was always easy. So I explain that to them on that level, like, let it be a tool that you're using to just make things a little easier. Figuring things out is a lot more cumbersome than just using your intuition. It's quicker. Intuition is quicker.
Yeah, I think, my parents were probably like that.
Right?
Yeah. It's like, oh, this child, okay. Yeah, I was one of those unique kids who'd put crayons under my shoe and ice skate on the linoleum floor. Oh, I didn't know there were crayons under my shoe. My mom would say, she's all over your daughter. Oh, yeah. I was creative. Oh, yeah. Powder puff all the clean clothes so they smell good. I mean, come on. This is creativity. Oh, yeah.
I loved how, when you were describing the Center for Children, the Yin Yang Center, how you were really establishing it from this vibration of just validation and support of being psychic, just for the sake of being psychic, not to try to control it or use it for something or make it special, but just normal. This is how it is. We all come in psychic. We're all souls. And when we incarnate, we still have that.
Yeah.
We are still soul. Because I think there was a lot, and maybe it's still happening, but I know you mentioned, especially back in those early 80s and such, there was a lot, both in Russia and China, I think, of government trying to seek out and sort of steal away those psychic kids to use them for something. I don't know what they were using them for, but what is psychic for? On our path, our intuition is for our own guidance, right? Our own soul development. It's our inner compass to guide us along on our soul's journey. And I think what happened a lot back in the day, and I'm I'm hoping it's not happening anymore, but it might still be happening, is a lot of those psychic children got, used for like testing or to make it some like really special thing, or to turn it into like, how can we use this to, control? How can we use this for our military benefit? How can we use this to, gain a leg over, in terms of using it to gain more power or control.
Yeah.
And that might be why, some of us, when we incarnate, hide a little bit, like, oh, I don't want this. I don't want to stand out. I don't want to get the attention of the wrong people.
Yeah. During that course of working with all the kids, there were certain kids who had very strong abilities. One is a little boy named Roy, and we were, lining up. The bell rang, we were lining up to go back into school, and he came running up and he slid face first into the gate and broke like 2 boards. I mean, he was a big kid. Yeah. And it was like, Roy, are you okay? Did you hurt your head? And he's like, no, but his face was bleeding. And I'm like, man, your head is so strong. It broke my gate. And we were all amazed. And he's like, I can fix it. And I'm like, we'll fix it. But, he was a science project. It's like, oh, your blood. What color is it? Red. What does it taste like? This is way before AIDS. So, it was a whole different world. But, he could taste his blood, and it was salty. The kids all gathered around him and, helped him. We went in and washed it and put the stuff on it. And the next day he came in, it was totally gone. And the social worker had been there at his house because they lived in their car. And she said, do you think that mother's abusive? And I'm like, oh, no. She was so on his side. And I said, look at Roy now. Nothing. He healed it overnight. It was amazing. And he got to take hammer and nails out and fix the gate. He was so proud. Yeah. So it's like, everything is a lesson. It's like, real life. That's how real life flows. And it was using their abilities to understand what gifts they had, but not to exploit it in any way. And I really love that.
Right.
That's how it should be.
That's what I've seen in certain places, that it gets exploited, or there's a lot of fear around it. There's so much out in the media now. There's so many books and TV shows and movies where it's like that. There's these psychic kids or these special people that have these special abilities, whether it's healing an injury very rapidly, or being able to teleport, or telekinesis, or telepathy. All the psychic things are on display in these types of TV shows and books, but it's making it like scary, right?
Of course.
Like you've got to, like, for control, right? And they bring in that element of fear and battle and war. So it's missing the context of, this is just the natural expression of spirit. This is how we can all be when there's space and permission, and not that fear, right? And when we recognize it's not for harming anyone, right? It's not for being in a battle, it's not to exploit it for control. It's to just demonstrate the nature of spirit, and that it's for healing, and it's for awareness, and it's for completing our soul's journey. Yeah.
We're going to have so much more of that on the planet. And, like I said, 18 to 20 years, something like that. I do think we'll travel to other universes. It'll be, people won't work. We'll have AIs for that. And so there's a lot that's coming that, is right in sync. And it's going to be a very exciting time. So it's just like staying present, eating your chocolate, being grounded. And, when I meditate, I pray for the whole planet. It's like, that we all come into harmony and it all works out. Yeah. I think it's a done deal.
Yeah. I have no fear about what's to come. For me, it's very exciting. And whatever is happening right now that looks like a shit show, it's just part of old systems needing to fall apart.
Yeah.
Old systems needing to completely dismantle and disintegrate.
Absolutely.
And just kind of enjoy the ride and keep creating, keep staying present, keep bringing in your information of what are you here to create,
Absolutely.
Or are you here to contribute?
How do you want to see it? How do you envision it? And
just really owning our power of visionary. Like, we don't have to contribute to the fear story.
No. And it's like, there's always a choice on the planet. It could be another Gaza, which I just don't see. where everything's blown up. I just don't see it. But I do see us all coming together to support each other, moving the food around. So everybody, there's no reason for anyone to starve. There just isn't.
There's plenty. Yeah. We're just moving to, rather than that perception of scarcity, which leads to like greed and fear and control. There's plenty, and we can all share and co-create and collaborate
and have a good time.
That's what community is all about.
It is. Yeah, it is.
We can be one global community having a really good time.
Absolutely. And I think it's becoming, more and more we get out of our just little lanes and, come into this big community concept. And it's so much fun to learn about another group of people, another, their customs, what's real to them, just like it is to share what we know. And we really help each other so much. It's such a win-win. So we're destined for good things. And it won't be until those happen that you and I come back, because we're going to wait a little while, let them get it all figured out.
Right.
Yeah. Want to come
show
back
needs
as
to get
twins?
on the road before we come
back. Let's come back as twins. We could really do it. Cause some trouble.
Yeah.
Some
That's
poor
right.
mother.
We're gonna have a good time. Yeah, we can set up an application for our mom right now. Who wants to do it?
Yeah. That poor soul. Little does she know. But she'd never be bored.
No. She might feel like she has her hands full, but she'll have a lot of love and a whole lot of fun.
And she'll give us everything we want because we're princesses. Yeah, that's it. Oh, Lord. Trouble.
We won't have to lift her fingers.
No.
It is good to know these things when you're planning your next lifetime.
That's
like
right.
You too can have just what you are choosing to create.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotta envision it. Yeah. I love it.
I love it. Yeah. So much fun. What other fun miracles did you see? Or what we might call miracle because it's unusual or you don't see it a lot, right? Because most children, even though they're psychic, there's not that space or permission for them to necessarily manifest a lot of the kind of psychic gifts, we might call them, that you see out in the world. What other things did you witness that were just like, wow, that was amazing?
They're just tuned in. Yeah. And it's just normal. And, I love it because it's just so simple. This was really great for me as a teacher. They'd have snack time and somebody would be the snack person and they each had their little mats with their names on it. And, they'd give them a cup and pour the juice. And, the concept of, this one got the juice all the way up to the top where you could barely move it. It was going to spill everywhere. And then there might be two that didn't have any juice at all. And as an adult, you want to try and fix it. And you really learn to pull back and let them fix it. And so the two that didn't have juice would say, hey, I didn't get any juice in my cup. And the one with a really full cup would go, I've got juice. And they'd spill half of it going across the table to pour it into their cups. And they would look down and we'd just go, good thing we have sponges, and they'd clean it up after a while. And we had a bucket of sponges and water and they got to wash. But it's so tempting to jump in there because it's quicker, it's neater, but you don't give them a chance to problem solve. And that's really what you're doing there, is holding that space so they can figure it out. What is their answer? How do you share? And what's fair? And I mean, they can be ruthless. They can call you out. Like one time we were meditating and I was only 27, 28 years old. And I'd been out the night before having a few drinks. And they came in and they said, for meditation, and they all got up and left. And I said, hey, where are you going? We're going to meditate. And they're like, you're not in a good space. We don't want to meditate with you. And I'm like, damn, busted by 2-year-olds. I'm like, okay, I'll find my space. That was the last time I ever went out drinking before teaching. So I learned my lesson. And I couldn't fault them. Teacher. They were right. They were such brilliant teachers. Yeah. So I sat down and ran my energy and I got in a better space. And, later we tried again and they were fine. But they really called it how it was. And I can't do anything but be thankful for that because it really taught me. It was a sacred space and I had to be there in a good space to be with them. And so I did. But they were brutal.
for them to be able to speak to that. There's no fear of punishment. Because in contexts, if a child speaks up like that, they would be punished. And for you, it was like, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I received that information. That is correct.
Yeah. You're very accurate.
Yes.
Rat. But they were great. They were just amazing. And so, what could you do? They told the truth. And it was like, okay, I'll get my act together and we'll try again. And I loved that because they were just brutally honest, but in a kind way. It was all coming from just saying the truth. And there's so little permission in a way on the planet for us to tell the truth. You can't really say, I don't want to be your friend for whatever reason, and it would be so much better if we could just tell the truth and say, you're a great person. You talk so much. I can't think because I have two people that just talk at you. And it's like, I don't have space when you do that. And it's not about you. It's about me and how much I can handle. Yeah. And, I just can't be a close friend because you wipe me out. So, that's the truth. And really, that isn't a bad thing to say. And I actually said it to two people that I dealt with. And we're just built different. And it's not good or bad. It's just, for me, that's a hard thing to handle. So I choose
to be able to speak the truth with clarity and compassion because it's not like you're speaking it from judgment or anger. It was just, this is how it's affecting me and this is how it is.
Yeah. And I can't do that very often. I can do it once in a while, but not real often. I can do it better in a group because it's kind of divided. But one-on-one, to me, that's really hard when you're being talked at versus two. Yeah. So you do get really sensitive as you get further along, on your path. And yet at the same time, you get more patient and compassionate. And that's good too, because you can really have those beginners and just thoroughly enjoy them for where they are. And it's just like, oh my God, you have no idea how you're going to open up and bloom. And it's going to be wonderful. And you just hold that space. And whether they get there or not, doesn't matter. It's just that they have permission to.
Absolutely.
That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah,
I have loved it. Yeah, I have loved it. I feel very privileged. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, woohoo. And you're
still doing it, even though you've retired from being the director. You never really retire as a psychic, do you? Full-time job, right? 24/7.
Yeah. It's reading the details on that contract before you sign it, to come to Earth. Yeah. That fine print gets you every time. Yeah. No, I do readings and I'll teach a class a couple times a year. And it's fun. I enjoy it. Yeah. But that's very different. Well, yeah.
For all your friends,
yeah. You get a lot of requests, and anybody who's really in trouble, I don't mind helping. Yeah.
Yeah, we're givers.
We are. We're good at it too.
But brings us joy.
It does. It does.
Know our boundaries. Yeah.
But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't do it different. I just feel really blessed. So that's the main thing to me. It has been just amazing lifetime. And I have a really strong body and I never get sick. And it's just great.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
You mocked up a good, dirty body so you could stick around for
I did.
Through to the other side of this.
And all my siblings are tall and really thin with black hair. And I have the German, French, Slavic body. I'm short and round and I'm more light-haired. And so it's really funny. They get sick a lot. I never get sick. So, this stocky little body has been great. Been the best. I think of all the energy I've handled. Yeah, it was the right body for me. Yeah.
You were going to have to handle a lot of energy. So you were like, we need the genes that can handle this.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Gotta have a strong body to get you through all that energy being a teacher for so many souls. That's so great, Mary Bell. Thank you so much for sharing about your experience and your journey with us today. Yeah. I love it.
I'd encourage anybody. Go do it.
Yeah. Discover how psychic you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's worth it. It is worth it.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me here. Yeah.
Worth it. Thank you so much, Mary Bell.
You bet.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us on The Higher Vibe. We'll see you next time. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you did, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Share this with friends. Really helps us out, and we really appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you next time.